trusting for that. But when the rubber meets the road, we done lost our faith. We're moaning and groaning and complaining just like the world. We need to live up to the standard of Christ. Christianity must not only be believed, it must be lived. The proof that our faith is real is a changed life. That's one way to tell it. Our life has been changed. Genuine faith will always produce good works. Any works that does not produce good works is dead. And there's no salvation in dead faith. Amen. We all have a portion of faith, and I hope none of it is dead faith. James is writing to people on the run. He's writing to people who have been scattered by severe persecution. I'm sure they would love to have heard Pastor James preach that these present trials will soon be over and not to worry and to be happy. Nevertheless, he writes, in times like these, my brethren, count it all joy when you fall into diverse temptations. Allow your faith in God to be the source of your joy. Divers mean many persecutions, many temptations. In other words, he's telling them, learn to be happy in the midst of pressure and persecution. If y'all ever been under any pressure, if you haven't, I want to see you immediately after service. I think we've all been under some pressure and had some persecutions. And you notice that James uses the word divers, which means manifold or many. Somehow the apostle is convinced that real faith can stand under pressure. This really does not sound so good to the ears, that is. He's suggesting that we got to develop an attitude of joy in the midst of suffering. You know, sometimes it's so hard to be joyous when you're going through. But he's telling us we have to adjust our attitude. In spite of what we're going through, I still have joy. I'm not saying you're going to be happy, but you still have joy. Because you know, happiness is something that depends on your situation. It depends on what's happening. But joy you can have in the midst of your trouble. He suggests that we develop an attitude of joy in the midst of suffering. Real faith can rejoice in the face of difficulty. Now, I do not know about you, but I like to say I'm rejoicing on the mountaintop. But James says that we need to rejoice in the midst of the valley. Amen? A Christian must stand under pressure because temptations and trials cannot be avoided. There are some things that we just have to endure and go through. Amen?
Amen.
A Christian must stand under pressure because temptations and trials cannot be avoided. There's nowhere we can go and nothing we can do to avoid our trouble, trials, and tribulations.